Well, it is Pride weekend in Charlotte, and our Defenders team discovering a serious equal rights issue for same-sex victims of domestic violence.
The paperwork required to file an order of protection only includes the wording husband and wife, excluding same-sex couples.
And now, as a result, our investigation, a local lawmaker is promising to file a bill that would make sure the state's laws are more inclusive.
NBC Charlotte Defender Nathan Morabito in Uptown Charlotte tonight with this story.
And the only way to change it is through legislation. Our discovery comes as the Charlotte Pride Festival and Parade is set for this weekend. It turns out not only are the orders of protection outdated in North Carolina, so is the state's definition of marriage, all 4 years after the courts overturned the state's marriage ban.
When we say that we're now a country that supports gay marriage, then everything else has to catch up to that.
Bishop Tanya Rawls marries both opposite and same-sex couples, but she knows not every relationship works out. And when there's a problem, especially if someone's safety's at risk, orders of protection like these are critical. When I give you these and you look at them, what do you think?
This is exclusionary.
Rawls ought to know. She too is in a same-sex marriage. Were you aware of this issue before?
I was not aware of it.
We've discovered North Carolina's domestic violence forms make no allowances for same-sex couples. Instead, they only account for opposite-sex couples, those who are unmarried with a child, and household members.
Some people are like, well, what's the big deal? Just, whatever. Just write down the fact that I need protection. Well, it is an extremely big deal as it relates to the law.
And so my hope is that we can address this, making sure that everybody is included.
State Representative Chaz Beasley plans on filing legislation to make sure North Carolinians in all kinds of relationships are protected.
Because we want people to know that they're not going to have their path to justice obstructed by the fact that there's some sort of technicality or some sort of antiquated language.
After we made him aware of the exclusion, the state lawmaker started researching the issue further, discovering North Carolina's current marriage statute is also outdated, clearly prohibiting marriages between people of the same gender, even though courts have deemed that unconstitutional. He's working on a comprehensive bill that he says will update state laws to make sure they're keeping up with the times, with an emphasis on victims' rights.
Our laws are outdated, they need to change, and they need to change in a way that does a better job of protecting people.
Attorneys tell us judges have found a workaround for some cases, telling lawyers to mark out the words of opposite sex when possible, but that doesn't work in every case. Regardless, advocates worry the current language opens the door for possible legal problems and could prevent people from getting the domestic violence resources they need. Last year alone, Mecklenburg County Sheriff's deputies served more than 3,400 protective orders. I'm Nathan Morabito for NBC Charlotte.
And we checked South Carolina's domestic violence form and found similar language, again excluding same-sex couples. The options only include the wording husband and wife.